What's going on, everybody? Merc back here with some more Draft League content, and this is like the 5th video I've made today, so if I sound kind of dead inside more than I already am, then there's your reason why. Anyways, this is MPL week 7 or 8. Something like that. I can't remember at this point. But anyways, we're taking on Fog, Foghorn Channel. Cool guy. Make sure to go check him out. He is a guy that we have played before in the NPL Minors semi-finals, which turned out to be sort of the finals. And I sort of tossed him on his neck. It wasn't the best of him that day, but Fog's known for winning Season 1 of the NPL and like never getting close since then. But he's a cool guy, so make sure to check him out like I said. And he is another guy that took over for someone else's team, though he's been here longer than most of the other replacement coaches. And his team is Tapu Fini, Hydreigon, Mamoswine, Magnezone, Crocodile, Blissey, Rotom Heat, Tornadus Incarnate with the Z move, Venusaur with the Z move, Espeon, and Slowbro. So, weird choice of Z move user in Venusaur, but he did end up bringing that. Some notes about Fog's team. There's a lot of common typings and weaknesses. He's got 2 ground types, he's got 2 electric types, he has 2 water types, he's got 2 dark types. Like, he has a lot of overlap on his team, which is really interesting. I could sit around and point out more similarities. Oh, he's got 2 psychic types as well. Yeah, you get what I mean. So he's got a lot of similarities on his team, and a lot of them are weak to things that I have on my team, which is really convenient. He's got a pretty slow team and a very bulky team as well. As you can see, he brought a lot of fat stuff, potentially. So the 60 I'm bringing were Mamoswine, Tapu Fini, Blissey, Venusaur, Espeon, and Slowbro. This is more or less what I expected to see, honestly. Could have seen like Hydreigon, something like that, but I did think Slowbro had to come to be able to check Metagross. Venusaur is a pretty big threat to my team, and it checked a fair bit of it, so I wasn't surprised to see it, even though Venusaur is kind of a shitty mon. Blissey thought might have come, might have not, but it did, which is fine because I can take advantage of it with this team. Tapu Fini I figured was coming because it's fat and annoying and it checks some stuff on my team. I'm trying to remember what exactly. It doesn't matter. He has stuff on the team. So, some notes. He's very slow. He has 2 rockers, one of which is Mamoswine, the other Blissey. Both of them I can pressure pretty heavily and potentially stop rocks from going up at all. And he brought 2 waters and he brought 2 psychic types, so a lot of common weaknesses. I don't really have anything that hits psychics too hard, but Breloom, if you can see, absolutely throttles his team. So let's I guess just go down the list. So first thing we have is Assault Vest Tapu Koko. It was here to pivot into stuff like Tapu Fini, the Hydreigon, Slowbro, Espeon. Oh yeah, I forgot one thing. We did have a transfer. We dropped Suicune for Alomomola. Alomomola fits the team a whole lot better since we have stuff like Goodra and Metagross that really like having wishes passed to them, and also Suicune in electric terrain is really shitty. And Alo's a lot better fit for the team. So as you can see it there. So yeah, we've got the AV Special Modest Tapu Koko, really big threat to his team and also can pivot things pretty well. Switches into the Fini alright, can see what the Blissey's going on. Not really the Venusaur, but if I predict a grass move, I can come in and U-turn out. That sort of thing, you know. And it's got pretty good coverage against his team. Dazzling Gleam, T-Bolt, HP Fire. I kind of had to pick and choose my coverage. I went with HP Fire to get neutral, or to get super effective on Magnezone and Venusaur. He didn't bring Magnezone, which I don't blame him because I have a Dougie on my roster, which would kind of neutralize what Magnezone wants to do because it's getting trapped instead. Anyways, next we have an Alakazam, and this is Life Orb Zam, and Life Orb Zam is an absolute savage. We've got Sight Shock, Energy Ball, Hidden Power Ground, and Dazzling Gleam, and that absolutely destroys him completely. Like, nothing takes 2 hits from this thing except for like possibly Spadef, Espeon. Like, his whole team gets outsped, and his whole team just gets crushed by Alakazam. So it's really, really strong, and definitely a great wall breaker and cleaner. So I definitely opted for the power instead of the reliability of Sash, which is fine because Fog really doesn't have like any setup sweepers on his team, so nothing that I really had to check. Next, Life Orb Breloom. Much like Alakazam, this thing absolutely pummels his team. We've got 4 attacks, so we have Drain Punch, which is there to get health back from the Blissey, and like fighting is super good against Fog's team, especially when I have Bullet Seed as well to be able to pop things like the Blissey, well not the Blissey, the Finny and the Slowbro. And then we've got Rock Tomb to be able to hit Torn and the Venusaur, which can like 2-hit KO Venusaur depending on the spread, especially with Rocks up. And then Mach Punch, of course, because priority Mach Punch with the Technician and stuff is super good against his team when you have like Hydreigon, Mamoswine, Magnezone, Crocodile, all big offensive threats that just get like destroyed by it. So Breloom, huge threat to his team. Like he has nothing that really takes 2 hits from it, if I predict right. Then I've got Bulky Metagross with the Cobra Berry to help check Hydreigon. Max HP, a lot of attack, a little bit of speed to creep on... What was I creeping? I think it was for Finny and like Rotom Heat and that sort of thing, but I can't remember exactly. It was at least for the Venusaur, I know that. But we've got nice dual stab with Zen Headbutt, Meteor Mash, and then Earthquake, I believe, to be able to hit. Or no, we have Hammer Arm because he has a ton of Dark types and Steel types and that sort of thing. So Hammer Arm is really good. Fighting is, like I said, very good against Fog's team. And then Stealth Rocks because I didn't want to run Rocks on my Gliscor this week. Then we've got Alomomola. Just mixed defensive with Wish Pass. Wish Pass is super nice for this team since I've got stuff like AV Coco. Even Zam really appreciates it, and especially Metagross does. And then lastly, we have Spadef Gliscor, meant to help pivot stuff like the Finny, the Venusaur, Espeon, Hydreigon, Magnezone, those sort of things. I have no speed for a max speed Magnezone because that was looking like a threat, but he didn't bring it, and that's totally fine with me. So looking at the matchup, Breloom just wrecks his shit, Zam wrecks his shit, and Coco outspeeds his whole team, so I feel like I do this every week, or most weeks, but we have a Coco that outspeeds his whole team and has U-turns, so why not just lead with it? Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and lead off with our Shelburb as per the usual, and he is going to lead off with the Mamoswine. So turn 1, I can scout what set he is and by just hard switching into Alomomola. If he has Life Orb, he actually could potentially, well no, if he had Rocks up and he was Life Orb, he could potentially 2-hit KO me because of my spread, because I made this team pretty quickly, but I'm going to go hard into Aloe because I can just chew anything and see what sort of set he is, and he's going to go for the knockoff here. So him staying in tells me a few things. He could be like a berry, he could be Vest. He's not going to be a berry because Fog doesn't believe in berries. So he's like Vest, Sash, or Scarf. So now he's going to hard switch out. The knockoff damage shows me that he's just like Jolly, so definitely not adamant damage, as I'm going to throw up a Wish right here. And because I have Wish in there, I can just go hard into my Gliscor. Unless he specs HP Ice, which I don't really anticipate Espeon to be, I can take this hit, and I can probably even take an HP Ice since this is Spadef Gliscor, and then get healed back up to full with the Wish. But he's going to opt to Baton Pass here, and go into his Slowbro. So Slowbro's a little scary, but I know I can take any hit unless he's offensive. I can even take an Ice Beam from this thing, and I'm going to go for the knockoff here, because I just want to get rid of his item. Just getting rid of items with my Gliscor is very, very helpful, and he's going to go for the Scald right here, which is going to do slightly over half, showing me that he's not invested, he's just like Slowbro normally. Physically defensive probably, and what I'm going to do here is click Taunt, because I didn't anticipate that he was going to stay in, because I could 1v1 him, or I could just chew the Scald or something like that. So he's going to go into this Venusaur, and I'm going to get my Poison Heal, get some more health back, and I really didn't figure it'd be HP Ice either, and if he was, then I messed up. And he's going to show that he's actually faster than me, and he has Giga Drain, so he's definitely a very speedy Venusaur, because I do have speed investment on my Gliscor. And I'm going to go for the knockoff, and he shows that he actually is a Z move. Now this is scary, because he could be Bloom Doom, he could have a Z knockoff or Earthquake, but either way, I'm going to go into my Metagross, because I just really want to get my Rocks up, because Rocks look super nice against his team, because they guarantee me a lot of 2-hit KOs that I couldn't get otherwise, or would be rolls or something like that. So he's going to Giga Drain. and I'm just going to go ahead and fire off the Stealth Rock right here. But then he goes for the Zima, and I was like, oh shit, he's Tectonic Rage. So I got very, very scared right here. I thought I tripped up big time. I even considered harding back into Gliscor to scout for this, but he's going to go for this. Coming off an Earthquake, I was like, well, shit, I just lost my Metagross. I'm not going to have Stealth Rocks, and this game's going to be a little more difficult to deal with. But as you're going to see, Metagross actually eats that shit, and I'm going to be able to get my Stealth Rocks up. So that's really good for me. I don't want to lose my Metagross yet, because I think I could potentially pass a Wish into it, but he's going to switch out here, interestingly enough, and go into his Slowbro. I guess he wasn't confident he could knock me out with the Earthquake. And Slowbro definitely just hard walls. So I'm going to make the switch out. And do I just go back into... Yeah, I'm going to go back into Gliscor because I didn't think Giga Drain was his play. And I could have... Since he's faster, I could just roost up on it. Especially since he didn't go for the HP Ice, so I didn't think he had it. And I'm going to switch out because I have my Tapu Koko with the AV, which can definitely pivot into this. And now I'm glad that I did this, because after a long string of animations, he shows that he does have Ice Beam. So that was good on my part that I didn't try and like EQ it or something silly like that or taunt it. And now, because it's Slowbro versus Tapu Koko, he's not going to want to stay in, so I'm going to just go for the U-turn as he's going to go out into Blissey, and I'm like, oh yeah, it is time to bring in the Loom. And as long as I get my prediction right with Breloom, then I get a kill. So that's pretty rad. So I'm going to go into Loom, 2-step, and I'm 100% clicking Rock Tomb right here. There's no way that he leaves this Blissey in to take it, and even if he does, Rock Tomb is doing a ton of damage to it. So he's either going into his Espeon or his Venusaur. He has to go into Espeon. Either way, both these things are getting to it KO'd by Rock Tomb. So I'm going to go for the Tomb, and that does a lot. That's an Adamant Life Orb Technician Rock Tomb, and that thing is certainly in range of a Mach Punch from here. So that's really good. I don't know what this thing was going to do. Potentially it was Calm Mind Pass, which would have been pretty scary, honestly, or a Sub Pass, but I'm going to be able to go for the Mach Punch and take out the Espeon. So down that thing goes, and that's good for me. One thing Loom was able to take out, but now he's got the Venusaur. It is back here. This is a threat to my team, even though it is just a normal, stupid Venusaur. But obviously I don't want to let my Loom die because it like shreds his whole team. So I'm going to go ahead and just decide to sack off my Metagross now, figuring that I probably can't get a switch into it, and getting up rocks is all I needed it to do. So he's going to go for the Earthquake right here, and I thought I could potentially live this. I didn't want to calc, I was like, maybe I could live it, but nah, he's just going to get a crit. I don't think it mattered. It could have potentially, and I would have gotten off a Zen Headbutt and knocked it out, but it's fine, because now what I get to do is go into my other huge threat to his team, being this Life Orb Zam, and this thing, once again, will just get a kill because he has no switch-ins to it. He's going to go hard into his Tapu Fini, but after Stealth Rocks, Psyshock plus Energy Ball is going to be able to knock this thing out unless he is Rindoberry. And even if he can take the hit, he can't kill me back, which is fantastic. So I'm going to be able to fire off the Life Orb Psyshock, and this does a chunk, showing that he's more primarily physically defensive, possibly, or some sort of mixed bulk. But either way, I should just be able to knock him out with the Energy Ball, so I'm going to go for it. And will I be able to knock it out, get rid of the Fini? I will. So down goes the Tapu Fini, which is good for me. And now that Fini's gone, I can control the terrain game and make it so that I can potentially get a Toxic off on that Slowbro, which could potentially be a little annoying if it's not Toxic. So he's going to go to Mamoswine right here, and I'm going to go hard into my Alomomola, as he is going to go for the Icicle Crash right here, making the safe play. I had no reason to risk my Zam right there because I still wanted it around to kill the Venusaur because it was looking annoying. And now I have the Aloe here, and what's the rule of having an Alomomola on the field? You click Wish. So he's going to be able to go back out into Venusaur, as I'm going to just be able to fire off a Wish right here. And I ran a few calcs, and I've seen his 3 moves, and I kind of figured he wouldn't have knockoff. So what I can do here is I can actually make the switch into my Alakazam. I can take any hit and get healed back up to full. So I tried to Wish Pass into an Alakazam, but he does show that he's Sunny Day. So now I know his moveset is Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, Earthquake. Nothing else can knock me out, and I just get another kill here with Psyshock. So that's just glorious for me. He's going to go for the Giga Drain, and this doesn't even do half to my Alakazam because it does have pretty solid special bulk, and it's going to take him up to near full, but it's an offensive Venusaur, and this is a Life Orb Zam, and that is no longer a Venusaur. That is dead. So Venusaur's gone, and that was like his only thing that could have potentially won him the game, because all he has left is Mamoswine and Blissey, so that's totally... and Slowbro, for that matter. Yeah, Slowbro. So he's going to actually pull a double here, showing that he is indeed Scarf, because I'm also going to switch out, because I don't want to lose my Alakazam. As he goes into the Slowbro, predicting, assuming my Alomomola. But this is completely fine, because I got Toxic. And I can beat this thing 1v1 with... well, I can just beat this with my team, because I can Toxic it, because terrain's not up. So... I'm going to be able to Toxic him, and the Slowbro is Toxic and therefore neutralized, because that's how this game works. So now I can just kind of beat it with my Breloom or my Koko or whatnot, as he goes for the Calm Mind here. And now what I can do is just throw up a Wish and then pass it into my Tapu Koko and start bludgeoning it with like Thunderbolt or Dazzling Gleam or whatnot. So I'm going to be able to throw up the Wish now. Nothing that the Slowbro can do can possibly hurt me, unless he was like Grass Knot, and even then, it's not going to do much, and then he'd be a slack-offless Slowbro, because we've seen Calm Mind Scald Ice Beam. Anyways, Scald just does no damage, and now I can easily pass my Wish into Tapu Koko. Because of the Assault Vest, the Scald is not going to be doing very much, and I'll be getting back to full health, unless he gets like a Super Mega Ultra Kit and knocks me out, which I don't think is possible with this sets and stuff. So he's going to Scald, just hoping no burn, because I don't want the residual. It does a chunk, but not enough, and Wish is just going to bring me right back up, so that's great. And now what I want to do is just click Dazzling Gleam, because if he slacks off here, he's taking a lot of damage, and if he goes into Mamoswine, then I'm going to get a big chunk off that thing, but I'm actually going to do the better player option, which is crit the Slowbro and knock it out. So a little unfortunate, but I don't think it really affected the end game, because I could have just thunderbolted it afterwards, and there's nothing he could do to kill me. So now he's going to go into Mamo, and once again, I just have the free switch into my Alomomola, because it's fat and it doesn't want to die, which is wonderful. And he's going to go for the EQ, and he's actually going to score a return crit, as that does a whole lot of damage, but I know that unless he gets a consecutive crit, that I can just live this hit and throw up a Wish. Or no, I'm actually going to go for the Scald right here. He's going to go for the EQ. I can take that on 16. I knew I could take it, and because he's not Life Orb. And Scald is going to be able to take it out, because I got another crit. Once again, it didn't matter, because if I didn't knock him out there, I would have just switched into my Gliscor, which would have been able to beat a choice locked in Earthquake Memo. And all he has left is this Blissey, so what I can do is just hard switch into my Breloom and finish the game off with a Drain Punch. So this is going to be a 5-0 victory for us, which is huge, moving us to, I believe, 4-3 or 5-3. Yeah. I think we're 5-3 now, and the reason I had Drain Punch was because I wanted to see my Breloom go from like no health to completely full health after killing a Blissey with Drain Punch. So we're at less than half. We're going to go for the Drain Punch. This Blissey's at about like 75%. It's going to drop, and we are going to get like all the way back to 100% easily. So down goes the Blissey. Breloom picking up a nice two kills in this game, and overall just a really good outing by all of our Mons. Alomomola doing a ton of work, being able to pass Wishes and actually give me a switch into Mamoswine, so that was pretty great. And overall, just a good team effort. Zam did the finest, Loom did the finest, Koko was good in this game, and Metagross got up Rocks, which turned out to be extremely helpful in getting 2 KOs on his team, so yay. Yeah, that was the game. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like, leave a comment, tell me what you thought, and I will see y'all next time for the next week of whatever league I'm in, because I'm in too many. Bye.